Hi, friends. So, welcome back to the second part of May 2020 RTP. Now, before we get to this particular session, I have an important announcement to make. As you guys know, there has been, as of now, as I'm speaking, there has been a 21-day lockdown to fight the coronavirus. We know that this is inevitable. Otherwise, we have to face, serious consequences the way Italy and US is facing right now. So, having said that, so that is one side things that are happening. The other side, we have this issue of preparing for CA exams, which might be conducted in May. We don't know as of now because probably, if I'm not wrong, you will get an update only in the first week of April, if I'm not wrong. And if the exams gets postponed, it's fine. If at all it doesn't get postponed, then it's gonna be a really risky thing for all of us, going on a presumption that exams may be postponed. So that thought process is not that correct right now. So let's anyway, we are all at home. I'm locked up, you're locked up, so why don't we just study? Even I'm doing the same thing. I'm studying various books, so you got to do the same thing. Okay, if exams gets conducted the normal way, it's fine, because anyway you'll be preparing. In case if it gets postponed, then it's even good, right? So we'll be getting an extra time to prepare, and given the scenario, that should be the ideal way. Actually, the exams must get postponed, but let's wait for the official announcement from ICA. Anyway, so keeping those things in mind, and because as you know, because of the lockdown, so many live classes have been, face-to-face class have been cancelled and all that. So many students were asking me that, so I want to buy these classes, but some of them, they were saying that, so it's a little bit high, so anything that you could do in our favor and stuff like that. So I thought that, okay, let's provide some relief in that way. So, and most importantly, happy Telugu New Year to all of you. Happy Ugadi. I think today is Marathi New Year also. I don't know the name actually. Okay, with respect to what's the New Year is called, I'll just check it once. Happy Gudi Padwa, right? To all the Marathi friends over there, Happy Gudi Padwa. Sorry if I pronounce it wrong. So enjoy the festival with your parents and friends at home, because in current kind of situation or generation, we are not finding time, to spend some quality time with the family and all that. So in that way, it's positive only. And at the same time, this is the offer that I'm going to give you right now. So on 25th and 26th March, if you're gonna buy either Scmpe Crash or regular batch, there will be flat 30% off on the price that we usually used to sell. Now, why is it? The logic is very simple. Due to Corona issue is one thing, and so I really wanted to, you know, make something that would be really helpful for students. So that's one of the reasons why I went for this. Okay, that too after getting lots of messages. So that's the thing. Anyway, so let's straight away get on to the second part of May 2020 RTP. Right, friends. Now come to the second question. So cost management in specific sector. Now this surprise question in May 2020 RTP, even I got surprised actually, because this particular chapter wasn't given any importance whatsoever in your study material of ICA, be it in terms of the content that has been covered, and there was not even one question actually in your study material, that is January 2019 edition. Anyway, but then now it is there in RTP. It's a quite an interesting question. So let's solve it. So I told you already when I was talking about, I mean, in the video with respect to guest questions for May 2020 RTP, I already told you that gain sharing arrangements and cost management in specific sector, these are all the two areas which surprised us a bit in this particular May 2020 RTP. So let's prepare what is there. Okay, chalo. So Fresh Bazaar was founded in 2014 as a Fresh Bazaar Mart. It provides amazing place for fresh organic fruits and vegetables. After launching its operations in November 2014, it grew to about 150 stores within 3 years, majorly in metro cities. But soon it found that it did not have the systems and infra to support the expansion. So what else? Fruits and vegetables as a category of competitive market types, which offers these products very low margins, while the rental cost and other overheads are very high. Also, staff attrition, poor locations, supply chain issues, and infrastructure problems prompted it to shut nearly 45 stores within 2 years of the launch. Since then, the company has standardized its operations and increased centralization of its supply chain. Though they provide all types of fresh organic fruits and vegetables under one roof, Instead, in local mandis, people have to go from one place to another to buy different fruits and vegetables. Still, they are unable to compete with the local vendors. So what is the reason? It also faces huge opposition from politically powerful small vendors, farmers, and middlemen. Fresh Bazaar had major hurdles in 2016 when it chased out state Uttar Pradesh, Jharkhand, India's most populous region, after protest by small vendors, farmers, and intermediaries. Mr. Kailash, manager of Fresh Bazaar, purchases fruits and vegetables from wholesale mandis. Price of fruits and vegetables fluctuates in wholesale mandis daily basis, which directly depends upon the supply of fruits and vegetables by farmers. In addition, supply also depends on transport facilities, rain, political factors, etc. So Fresh Bazaar sells these fruits and vegetables at the almost same price as that of local vendors in local mandis, though the quality of local vendors is not as good as Fresh Bazaar, but local public prefer to buy fruits and vegetables from local vendors on roadside. Their business still requires a lot of investment, and there is no synergy to the activity of the company. Due to all these reasons, it is continuously incurring losses. So Fresh Bazaar wants to expand its business and wants to make money in every store that they set up, and that would be the way in which they scale up their business. So you are required to advise, is there any scope to reduce losses and increase profitability? Now, first thing that you have to understand is you got to read the question two times carefully, which many of us ignore because reading the question gives you 90%, or if I'm not wrong, 70% probability of solving the question correctly, even though you know the concept. You understand the point? That is one area where a majority of the students, they take it negligently. They don't read the question, and that's the mistake that you do. That's why you will never be able to do new sums altogether. I mean, new models. So therefore, my question will be, it's a case scenario here. So I want you to read the entire question two times. You can pause the video and do the same. And also, you need to understand that this particular question is not dependent on any concept whatsoever. So which means you need to use your common sense and then solve this particular case scenario. That's the thing. Okay. Anyway, so now read the question two times and then we'll start with the solution. Each and every line is important, so be careful when you're trying to read the question and understand what is happening. You feel that you are the Fresh Bazaar, so you try to step into the shoes of Fresh Bazaar and you feel that you are the one who is facing this sort of situation. Then automatically your common sense will give you answers. Are you able to understand? Try to do it seriously. You'll understand what I'm trying to say. Okay, read the question, guys. We'll start. Done with reading, Nana? Chalo, let's move on to the solution. In case if the time is not sufficient, very simple, just pause the video, read the question twice, and then continue with the session. Anyway, chalo. So what is the question that he has asked? Advise, is there any scope to reduce losses and increase profitability? As I'm telling you, this particular case scenario, we need to answer purely based on common sense. Let's see how to answer that. Okay, as usual, come to problem number 2. So this is a case scenario. Okay, cost management in specific sector. So that's obviously what we can say, unexpected area, power notes, right? Chalo. So first, what is the first thing? What did I write? Copy 3 to 4 lines about Fresh Bazaar from the question. Those who have already listened to my classes, I have told you this trick. So whenever in any question about a particular company, if lot of sentences has been where he tries to explain the company a lot, then when you start with the answer, you always need to write some 4 to 5 lines about that company and only then go for the rest of your solution. These are all simple tricks but really effective tricks to write your answer even if you come across a new case study or case scenario in the examination. Are you able to understand? Those who have already listened to my class like this, I've told them some hundreds of tricks. In that, this is one trick. You got it? Now, those who are listening for the first time, anyway, you would have understood what I'm trying to mean by now. If you see the question about Fresh Bazaar only, he gave you the entire first paragraph, or able to understand, and even the second paragraph also, more or less. Therefore, in any question, if about a company, he tries to explain you a lot, like 5 lines, 10 lines, or something like that, then always when you start with the answer, you start with writing about that particular company, some 4 to 5 lines, and then only go for the rest of the solution. That's what I've written here. So copy 3 to 4 lines about Fresh Bazaar from the question. So if there is any other case study or a case scenario where about the company, he just gave you 1 line or 2 lines, just like an introduction. This company is so and so. And after that, he went into some other areas. Then in those questions, you need not start with something about the company. Are you able to understand? So it all depends upon the feel of the question. Got it? Chalo. Now, okay, what is that that is happening? Local public prefer local vendor despite same prices because they can bargain with the local vendor, whereas Fresh Bazaar sells at fixed prices. So this is the issue. So when it comes to Fresh Bazaar, it has the advantage of selling all the vegetables and fruits at one single place. Whereas if you go to local vendor, one will sell you tomatoes, one will sell you, pomegranates, one will sell you apples. So you have to go to multiple people, but still, people are preferring that local vendors. Why? Because they can bargain. Whereas when it comes to Fresh Bazaar, there's no question of bargain because he will sell at obviously what, fixed prices. We have seen that when we go to Reliance Fresh or more supermarkets, correct? Right? That's the thing over here. That's why people are preferring local vendor purely because of bargain. This is reason number one. Next, Fresh Bazaar should do the following to reduce losses, because that's what he has asked. Na? If at all I have to reduce losses, what should I do? Look at the question. What is that he has asked you? Advise there is any scope to reduce losses and increase profitability. Now you can ask me, sir, is there any concept that we can apply here? Yes, we can apply, but purely most of the answer should come out of your common sense. Sir, how can I get points? Very simple. You step into the shoes of the Fresh Bazaar and see that the problem is yourself and you are facing that problem. If you were to be in that place, how would you solve it? Now, if you start thinking that way seriously, you will get points automatically, right? Chalo, anyway. Okay, first one is do value chain analysis. This is a concept which I'm trying to apply. So, what do you mean by value chain analysis here? When it comes to agricultural sector, generally 30% of the total production is lost every year. So, if you are able to do value chain analysis and if you can avoid the same, that is avoiding the 30% of total production which is going to lose every year, you got the point. You will be able to reduce cost. Also, by analyzing the value chain, you can try to eliminate all the intermediates. That's the concept of value chain, right? You would have read about this concept in Intro to Strategic Cost Management. But there, when we read about value chain analysis, we were reading about that value chain analysis inside a company. Now, here we are talking about the entire agri sector, which means where the basically the fruits farming will start, fruits or vegetables, and from there how it comes to the wholesale mandi, from there how it comes to the fresh bazaar, from there how it is ended up being sold to what end consumers. So this is what we call the chain of things that are happening, and there we will do value chain analysis in the sense we'll try to understand where the value is getting added upon. And if suppose a middleman is there who is trying to buy from the main farmer, and then he again sells it to wholesale mandi, and from wholesale mandi suppose it comes to you, fresh bazaar, then obviously by eliminating the middleman and the wholesale mandi, by directly procuring the things from the farmer, you can eliminate all this cost, and thereby you can reduce your cost. You can be more, even more accessible than the local vendors, and probably you'll be able to get more customers, and probably you'll be able to come out of losses. Simple logic, right? Second thing is purely, this is a common sense point, contract forming. This is why general knowledge is very important. That's why I tell many of my students that when you are trying to answer Scmpe, some general knowledge is also important. In fact, I was teaching them a case scenario problem from international transfer pricing, and there in one particular question, I was trying to tell them that this particular decision depends upon what kind of monetary policy or fiscal policy that sorry, not monetary policy, fiscal policy that a particular government, takes. So many of the people, they are not able to understand what do you mean by fiscal policy. Got the point? So little bit of general knowledge is important. Sometimes I think one more question in Kaizen costing, I think so, where we were talking about the chassis of a bike. Okay, we were talking about the suspension setup, the cubic capacity, the cc of the bike, and the brakes, the hydraulic system, everything and all. Now many of the students are not at all aware of any of these things. Now, when I say BS4, BS6 and all, they're having a little bit of thought process that okay, we have heard it somewhere, but they don't know in reality what it actually means. I'm sorry to say, if you are not able to have this sort of basic general knowledge, then this SCMPE can be quite a bit a tricky subject for you in the examination, especially when you get new models, new questions. If it is a question which you have already practiced, anyway, you would have known the answer, you would have write the same in the examination without any hiccups. But if you are going to get a new question, then really that's going to be a big problem for you. Same logic applies here. There is something called contract forming. What do you mean by contract forming? There will be an agreement between the buyer, in this case Fresh Bazaar, and the farmer. No middleman, no middleman, that he will buy it at a future date. Same like forward contracts in your SFM. Are you able to understand? So I'll tell the farmer, which means I am Fresh Bazaar, will tell the farmer that these many hectares, this many tons of you know vegetables or something that I need, and after 6 months, if the produce comes, then I'll buy it at so and so price. Today itself, they'll enter into an agreement, and the farmer has to do it. Once the farmer produces everything directly, it will be sold to the particular company. So company will be the direct purchaser, and it will buy everything. So farmer is happy, company is also happy because there are no middlemen. You understand the point? This is one strategy that the company can implement in order to reduce its cost and reduce its losses and increase the profits. Got it? So, agreement between buyer, that is Fresh Bazaar, and farmer to buy at a future date. So, what are the benefits because of this? Increased production, because being a very good company like Fresh Bazaar, they can help the farmers or able to understand in assisting with latest technology, soil analysis, or able to understand because of all these things. What will happen? The production might increase, the yield might increase. Correct? Obviously, there's a probability of yield getting increased. Low transaction cost, because directly you go to the farmer and you procure everything at a single source. Better quality, because you're assisting the farmer in latest technology, latest probably high yielding seed varieties, and as a result farmer is able to provide you with better yield, better quality. Low fluctuation in price, unlike the wholesale mandis, because in wholesale mandis every day the price fluctuates, whereas when you're trying to buy it from a farmer, you've already entered into the agreement 6 months back or 3 months back. So therefore there is no price fluctuation, you know it clearly. And of course no intermediaries, which we have already discussed. And last but not least, target costing to reduce cost. Students who have listened to my classes, whether it is pen drive classes, the full regular class, or face to face classes, they would have known the importance of target costing. Are you able to understand? So, target costing, Kaizen costing, these two are, I'll write it over here. Kaizen costing, especially, is applicable when it comes to manufacturing companies. But here, Fresh Bazaar is not a manufacturing company. He's more or like a trader, and therefore I'm not using Kaizen costing here. Otherwise, I would have used it. Whereas target costing you can apply here also. These two are universal solutions in many case studies or case scenarios where you want to reduce your cost. Keep this in mind. So whenever you come across any manufacturing company where the company is really struggling to reduce the cost, and if the question has asked you, give me some advice how to reduce the cost, you can go with an universal points like implement target costing. If it has not been implemented so far, implement Kaizen costing. That will result in cost savings in the long run. Because Kaizen costing is all about small cost savings in the long run, where it will eventually get converted into big cost savings. Correct? That's a concept. You can use it as a universal answer. The so-called these universal theoretical application oriented answers are pretty goddamn important. So this is what we call tricks. Tricks how to answer Scmpe. You understand the point? Without knowing these tricks only, many a times people feel that this sort of application oriented theory paper, that is Scmpe, is being considered very difficult. Actually, it is not very difficult. Easily you can score 70 plus, provided small tricks if you're able to apply. Got the point, Anna? So finally, what Fresh Bazaar should do: value chain analysis, contract forming, and target costing. Kaizen costing is not applicable over here. Why? Because he's not doing any sort of manufacturing. Got the point? So that is my power notes. You can just pause the video and you can copy the power notes from here. Got the point? Right, guys? So this is the first page, first half, and this is the second half. Okay? You can copy. You can pause the video and copy. Right, guys? So with this, we are done with the second part of May 2020 RTP. So this is PKS signing off. Thank you, guys.